back several years ago, I started building equipment for some of these other paranormal teams and just the general public. And I pretty much specialize in just about anything. A lot of custom trigger objects and stuff like that.
Yeah, you've got some pretty cool stuff. There's this thing that we call the head, and it has got all kinds of cool stuff on it. It looks wicked as hell. It's had a professional paint job done on it. But your equipment is really cool. You know, I mean, because I'm with Paranologies and Ghost Hunter stores, so when I saw your equipment, I was like, what is this? And, you know, of course, people are like, well, what does it do different than what does, you know, Paranologies do? But your stuff is a lot different than, say, you know, your piece of equipment that replaces the REM pod type thing it's called your pod, right?
Right.
And it pretty much does the same. Does it do the same thing, or what exactly does the pod do that it takes the place of a REM pod?
The pod basically just, it works off of positive and negative static energy. And we've had some really good results at several different locations. And, you know, up until this point, I'd never really had a favorite piece of equipment, but the more I use that, at some of these investigations, the better I'm liking it. And so that's turned out to be like one of my favorite pieces that I've got so far. Of course, I'm working on some new stuff. Like I said, I've got a couple of things that I'm trying to put together for the next, I guess, 4 weeks or so before Tombstone.
That is something that I'm looking so forward to. Now, Gary and I, we've been talking online on Facebook for quite a while, and, you know, we've been kind of keeping up with each other, and then we finally got to meet at Sloss Furnaces in Birmingham, Alabama, and, man, what an event that was. Do you agree?
Yeah, I don't even know if I've gotten over that event yet.
Yeah, a lot of us have been totally changed from that.
The things that happened at that place, I mean, I've been there multiple times, but I've had experiences, but that weekend was just, there was some remarkable paranormal activity that was going on. So yeah, it's kind of life-changing stuff that happened there that weekend.
You know, and it is, and the coolest thing about it all, Carol Malone and Darkside Entertainment put on a fabulous event. You know, there were a couple of hitches that we had to deal with, like 21-degree weather and moving stuff inside so we wouldn't get pneumonia, and that was very thoughtful of them. I thought that was very cool. I think they were very attentive to all the speakers and all the guests, actually, and it kind of, you know, we've become a family. We really have a tribe, so we call it, and we've gotten to be really close. These people are like brothers and sisters to me. Like Gary's like a brother. Like, you know, when I lost my cat, I just want to thank you for being so cool and like saying, hey, I'm here for you. That was pretty awesome. And the para-unity that we experienced at Sloss was just like none other, that I've not seen at any other event. So that alone made it pretty unique, you know?
Yeah, it was a good event. Like I said, I think that the friendships and the bonds and stuff that were made that weekend were, you know, something lifelong, and that's hard to find these days in the paranormal world.
For sure.
I mean, with all the drama and stuff that's going on, I mean, it's like every day you know, get on the computer or something, and it's always somebody bickering back and forth, and I just kind of try to stay out of it and just kind of observe and just shake my head and just wonder, you know, why. I mean, it's not that hard to get along.
No, and we're all adults, or we're supposed to be. That's the problem that I'm having, is that I don't understand how some folks love to stir up crap and they act like they're 10, you know, and I mean, I've had enough of that crap when I was in high school, you know, and early on, and, I had enough lesbian drama to last my whole entire lifetime. So I'm really not, into it. And so what I just do is I just pretty much ignore it, and I don't engage it. But it's sad. It really makes me sad because para-unity can't exist. People can't actually get along and collectively come together and try to get answers to something. Because we're all different. We're all got our quirks. Some of us are just a little crazier than others, and that's okay because finding friends like yourself, crazy like me, that's a blessing. People think we're nuts because of our beliefs and stuff like that, but I really don't care because I found me a little parafam, that they believe the same things, and we don't all agree on everything, but we don't have to. That's not what it's about. It's about coming together and, listening to each other's opinions and theories and, techniques on how to investigate, and maybe it'll further the field instead of, putting us back, with all this other mess that goes on. It just is sad.
I agree.
So, I think that our group, we try to stay as positive as we can, and we try to stay out of it as much as possible, but it seems like because we're going to the Tombstone event, which is actually amazing, people are coming, and saying some pretty nasty things about us, and we don't even know these folks. They don't know us. But, like I said, people that do know who we are, know about us, know that those people are just sad, and that's all they do, and, they'll have to answer for that crap one day, So I just kind of ignore it and go about my business. It ain't going to stop me from getting my answers that I want,
Right.
or at least trying. So tell us, I know that before you were into the paranormal, you were into law enforcement. Is that correct?
I was for about 20 years. And
wow.
I just where I'd lived and worked, I was several hours away, and and I tried the driving back and forth thing for almost a year, and it just really didn't benefit me. I mean, all of my paycheck was going towards gas to and from work, and I never had any time to myself or anything. I was never home, and so I had thought about it, and my girlfriend was like, "Hey, why don't you just quit and and do the equipment thing full time?" And so that's kind of what I did. I quit my job and just started building stuff full time, and so heck, I've been doing this full time for probably about 4 years, and
great.
So it's a good thing.
It's nice to have your own. It's nice to have your own damn schedule and be your own boss. And if you don't feel like freaking working in or getting that dress, you can stay in your damn pajamas. That's amazing, right?
All day, yes. And if I want to stay in my PJs all day and build equipment, I don't have anybody coming in. I do all my stuff online and everything. So if anybody wants something, they're not going to come over to my house and say, "Well, dude, you need to brush your hair." And it's that way sometimes. Sometimes I'll get up and, people's purchase stuff during the night, and and I have to start working on some of this stuff if I don't already have it built, which I try to keep, a wide variety of stuff made. But when people are wanting, like, just crazy stuff and custom, and that might take a little bit longer, but, people understand, and, and they're like, "Hey, I don't care if it takes 3 days to make that, it's made for me." And, they appreciate the fact that, they're getting a piece of equipment made for them, and they don't mind waiting 2 or 3 days.
Yeah, well, that's pretty good turnaround because, you know, sometimes with paranology stuff, you know, everything that Jeremy makes is also from, you know, scratch, like molds and all. I'm sure you know all about that. And so, you know, he goes from making, you know, a piece of flat plastic and all this stuff into some magical thing like you do. And it's just amazing. I'm like, how the hell do you even figure out how to do that crap, you know? But, I mean, you know, y'all are engineers. You work with that stuff. You know what you're doing. You've had, you know, tons of training. I mean, he used to work for a huge corporation, too, and he was making really good money. And then all of a sudden this paranology equipment started taking off. You know what I mean? So it's just like you. You know, so he was like, I don't even have time to really do my full-time job now, so I'm just going to build equipment. So it's kind of crazy how that took off, too, because the paranormal field is so popular that I'm sure that helped quite a bit with all that. Yeah, but your stuff is so cool. I mean, like the skull. Tell me about the head. What all the head has in it? I mean, because you have got everything but the damn thing having a drone to fly around and freak people out on it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you know what?
Have you thought about it?
Well, yeah, I probably have. I mean, the idea of that really, it came to me within a matter of minutes. We have an eBay business on the side that we also do full time, like dealing with just, you know, anything from makeup to clothing or whatever, antiques. And you know, one day we were out shopping and I saw this head and I passed it and I was like, oh my God, I'm getting that. I know exactly what I'm going to do with it. And, you know, we were out of town and I was like, heck, we got to hurry up and cut this shopping trip short because I need to get home and start on this because while it's fresh on my mind. And so we got back, and as soon as we got back home, I started working on it. And but in the mouth of this thing, I've got a K2 meter. And then I've also got a motion sensor built in. And when it detects something, the eyes will illuminate red. And then I've also got a microphone, one in each ear. And then I've got it on a tripod. Everything's mounted on a tripod. And then I've got a spot where you can put your digital voice recorder and plug those microphones in. So you can do your EVP session and everything's picked up through the two microphones.
Wow.
I'd actually thought about adding more stuff to it, but I figured I would leave it alone. So I built another one. And I had an idea with it, and I was sitting there thinking, okay, Tombstone's coming up. I'll just go ahead and put something together totally different and just kind of go with that whole Tombstone theme. And so I did. I built another one, and I've got it completed now. And it's pretty cool, I must say.
You know, when you first kind of gave a sneak peek to the Parafam, I was like, that looks kind of creepy. Okay, that's up there with the creepy shit at the birdcage that stares down at you. You know what I'm saying? But it looks cool though, you know, because I can't wait for you to be able to reveal it. I'm not going to tell anybody what it looks like or even give any kind of a hint, but I'm just going to go. If it were on a tripod sitting in a room and I walked in, my little ass would probably turn around and walk out just for a minute because it would be kind of setting me off just a tad.
Well, now it's, you know, I've got this one. I mean, it's got different stuff in it, and it's not on a tripod. So, I mean, if you want to set it on the table or set it in the floor or whatever.
Carry it in your arm and freak people the hell out.
I've got right now it's sitting on my desk, and it's when I'm on my computer, it's staring right at me, and it's kind of freaky because, especially at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, I've been doing some logos and stuff, just trying to change some things up. And so about a week or so ago, I was up, and it was like 3 o'clock in the morning, and I was half asleep, and I got up, and all the lights, I started flipping all the lights out, and I looked over and was like, oh my God. So yeah, it's got that creep factor to it, especially when everything's on and working.
Yeah, definitely.
It's got some different stuff. Probably
you don't have to tell us if you don't want to, unless you want to give us a little bit of info on it.
Well, I can give you the info, and I'll probably post pictures here after the show on my page. Cool. I've got a couple little small things left, like detail things that I'm gonna change, and I might even add another piece of equipment to it. I've been thinking about it, but basically what it is, it's another head, kind of to fit the whole Tombstone theme. It's a cowboy, and so I was sitting there thinking, okay, well, the cowboy needs a cowboy hat, but, that's just going to be stupid to have all that extra gear and stuff on unless I incorporate some of the equipment in it. So the cowboy hat is actually a piece of equipment. Some of the equipment that I put in it, I have made into the band on the hat. Is actually an antenna. And so it'll pick up 360 degrees around the hat.
Wow.
So that turned out pretty cool. But in the base of the equipment, I have a geophone vibration sensor built in. And if you like lights, it looks like a spaceship because there's plenty of lights on it.
That's very cool.
There's lights all the way across the front of the base. I've got an EMS detector built into the mouth. I've also got a motion sensor built in, and it'll illuminate the eyes red. And just all kinds of neat little things. Everything's completely powered off individual switches, so if you wanted to do just the EMS detector, you can turn it on. And if you wanted to do everything, you can turn all those on. Everything's completely movable, easy to set up, and I thought it was pretty cool. And I'm sure a lot of people might think that, but it's pretty neat. I enjoyed making it, and I don't think I'm done. I think I'm going to make another one. Actually, I've had several people within the past 2 weeks contact me after seeing the head, the original one. And,
right.
So now I'm having people wanting to place orders.
Oh, boy.
So there may be a few of these floating around out in the world here pretty soon.
Floating heads. That's what you can even name them, the floating head.
Well, that may be the next one. I may put a head on a drone or something.
There you go, a drone. There you go. Because you've been, Becky had to do some, modifying of her GoPro, and you do stuff like that too. Which, if anybody's out there, I know the GoPro is like a huge thing right now. And you can buy you a GoPro, and Gary has the ability to, modify that to where it'll work for what we need it to for investigations, for, spirit investigations. And what's so cool, though, and I thought about this, today while I was, getting ready for the show and figuring out what I was going to talk to you about, which isn't hard because we don't have a problem with that. But, your company's called Spirit Equipment. Well, the show that Justin and I were filming at Sloss is called Spirit Quest. And I'm like, well, problem being is we didn't have any Spirit Equipment on Spirit Quest that episode. So we're going to have to change that come Tombstone, because we will be filming another episode of Spirit Quest at Tombstone in May, which it's May 1st to the 3rd. You guys need to go get tickets. Go to Haunting at Tombstone, and there's a link there to get your tickets. But there's going to be so many cool people there, and I'm looking really, really forward to it. But we've got to get both of the heads. If you're bringing both of them, we got to get both of those on Spirit Quest, because how would that be, complete if Spirit equipment wasn't on Spirit Quest? I was like, come on.
Oh yeah,
because we just never got a chance, Yeah.
I'm probably going to have to ship them out. I don't know how well some of this equipment would go through security at the airport.
They would have you interrogating you like Meet the Fockers. Back off, lady. Get away from my head.
Yeah, I started thinking about that, and I was like, I could explain, hey, this is what I do, and, this is not a bomb.
But don't say that word.
They might not believe that with all the wires and all kinds of circuitry and everything. So I figured I would more than likely just ship everything out, and then hopefully it arrives safely, before I get there. And but yeah, that would be great. But they'll both be there for sure.
Yeah, because we got some amazing evidence at Sloss, which a lot of us had so many different experiences. We had rocks thrown at us. Some of us were scratched. There was my friend was psychically attacked. Brought her to her knees. I think Susie had an angel watching over her the way she fell, because she should have busted her face open the way she fell, and she didn't even break anything, or she was a little bruised up, a little scraped up, but the way she fell in that dangerous place, that had to have been some sort of angel helping her fall, because
I mean it was unreal, because the way she fell, I mean, there was several witnesses, and it was almost like she was just picked up by her collar or whatever on her jacket and just kind of flung through the air. There's really no actual tripping or anything involved. It was just more like something picked her up and threw her. And
that place was no joke.
Well, I mean, and the events that happened before her incident, that happened with me, some of the stuff that happened, I didn't even know happened until everybody that was down there started saying, hey, do you remember this? And no, because I didn't even know that there was pictures being taken until people started sending me pictures, and they're like, hey, check out this big, huge red orb that's on you.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I'm not into orbs, but, I mean, with the events that happened there, and at that time with me, and then the picture of the red orb, I think that had something to do with it.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't, I was popping in and out, of different groups, seeing what was going on and stuff like that, and I stayed with you guys for a little bit, and then when I left, I think is when everything kind of went haywire for you guys, and you kind of lost a little bit of time there, to where they said, we're not acting like Gary, and it was in that moment, in that time frame, where they did capture that huge, bright, glowing, reddish, dark orange orb on your back. I mean, it was right on you.
Right.
And, you lost a little bit of time, and like you said, you don't even remember that photos were being taken. And Sloss was, I'm an empath, so when I was there, I was picking up on a lot of dread, a lot of just being miserable, stuck at your job, pissed off, feeling like, I was treated like crap, and I was just kind of stuck, like Chuck, like I couldn't get out of it, and it was just like a dreadful thing every day that I hated to go there. And I was picking up on all that stuff. And, you know, I didn't notice it, but my friend, you know, Brenda was like, what is wrong with you? Everybody thinks you're pissed off at them. And I'm like, I'm fine. And she goes, no, you're not. Because I was picking up on all that stuff from the place, and then all these other people were having all these other, like, your, you know, experience. And then a friend of mine got, you know, psychically attacked, and she felt like she was having a heart attack. There were scratches going on. People being pushed like we think Susie possibly was. I mean, there were things going on that were just, it was constantly going on the whole time we were there. So would you say that that was one of the most haunted places that you've been to so far?
Oh, definitely. I mean, you know, I've been to a lot of locations, and I've had a lot of experiences. But, you know, in that weekend, you know, I mean, there was just so much going on. I mean, not only with me losing, you know, time and experience with some of that stuff, but even earlier in the night. You know, I think we were in the wheel room, and I had one of my pods sitting on, like, this little ass wall, and I was going to move it to a different location, and when I picked it up and turned around, you notice somebody's standing behind you or whatever, and you know, when you turn around suddenly, and you think you're going to hit them, and you're like, oh, sorry. Well, that's what happened. And I turned around, and there was a guy that was bent over tying his shoe. And when I turned around, he was standing right there, and I was like, sorry. And everybody in the group was like, what's going on? And I looked, and I was like, nothing. There was a dude that was standing right here, and he's not here now. And which I picked up on everything. I mean, clothing, color of clothing, everything. And I kept getting drawn after that down the hallway. So I go down the hallway, and then I turn around and come back. This same figure had moved to a different location and was just watching me. And which I thought was kind of cool, because, I mean, you know, it's not every day that you get to go to a location and have some of those experiences. And but yeah, I mean, that place is just it is unreal. There's a whole lot of stuff going on there. A great place for an event, and you know, maybe we can get something together and go back. I'm ready.
Oh, I think they already did. I think Carol has already set it up, actually, for March of 2016. So it'll be warmer. Yeah.
Right.
It'll be a little warmer. It will not be freaking 21 degrees, hopefully. But, you know, again, with the Sloth event, you know, Dark Side, you know, put on an awesome event. We had a great time. I think the cold, and I think Valentine's Day had something to do with people not, you know, there was a lot of people, but we thought we were going to have a little bit more. But y'all missed the heck out, because not only did they were doing forensics and you know, doing blood testing, and they set people on fire to prove or disprove if a worker was intentionally set with some sort of accelerant, or if it was just his clothing along with a spark, which, I don't know. After seeing it happen, after seeing it done or reenacted 4 times, I would have to vote on the side of accelerant. What do you think?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, you can't be in full flame and run 123 feet and then fall. You know, he had to have been set on fire, because if you're, you know, like say you know, go over the oven and your shirt catches on fire, you know, like that, you can set that off. You know, you can put that out, you know. But the way it seemed is that he was put some accelerant on from behind, and they torched him. And I guess he couldn't get out of his uniform fast enough, and it, you know, burned his lungs.
Well, I mean, depending on, what they use or whatever, I mean, and, how quick he could react to it, and plus whatever the clothing was made out of. I mean, whenever you put heat to some of this stuff, it'll just melt.
Yeah.
And then when it melts, then it starts embedding into your skin, and then, I mean, it's over.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I don't go with the theory that a spark caused all of that.
No, me neither. And they're going to do some stuff also at Tombstone. They're going to do some sort of once-in-a-lifetime pulling of evidence, and I'm not going to say because I don't want to ruin it, but y'all need to get your tickets for Tombstone. I kid you not. We've got places that's never been investigated before. It's going to be so cool. We got Four Deuces. We got Doc Holliday's, Boot Hill. The only thing I think that was on our flyer that's not available is Valerian. And the rest of it, I think we still have available to investigate. And I'm really looking forward to the Birdcage.
Right.
That's like, because of Chip and Justin were there about 2 years ago for an event. 2 years ago, I guess, for an event. And when they were there, Chip was actually witnessed it, but there was a table that was probably a little over 150 pounds. It was probably about a 10-foot table. It was really thick wood, solid table. And everyone had their equipment around it, and they were kind of sitting back and trying to do an EVP session or whatever and contact or, make them turn on flashlights or whatever that were on the table, but everybody was back away from it so they wouldn't knock it or hit it or have any false issues or whatever. And all of a sudden, this table just picks up. And I'm not talking, levitating 10 foot off the ground because it's a heavy table. But it levitated. And then it slammed down. And equipment went everywhere. And people were screaming. And, of course, Chip said he said a couple of expletives, that someone caught on audio. But, I want to go there. Now, the thing that creeps me out is the mannequin things that are upstairs staring down at you, and those are creepy as hell to me. What are you looking forward to investigating in Tombstone besides just the whole place? But do you have one particular place that you're really drawn to, or?
No, I don't think so. I think just the fact of being able to be in that historical town. It's just so overwhelming. I mean, there's so many places, there's so much history, and I just want to go and take it all in, and and go to some of these locations and see what I can feel and see, and go from there. And I hope that this head that I put together, hopefully we can get some good evidence with it, since it kind of fits the whole Western theme. Hopefully we can get some interaction with it, with some of the spirits there. I just can't wait. May 1st, can't get here soon enough.
I know, I've been counting down the days, man, trust me. I just got back from Missouri, and we were up there. I spoke at the Ozarks Phenomenon, and, those girls did a fantastic job. They were very articulate. They had everything set up by time. They had a great audio set up, video set up. They had the news come out. We all, a lot of us got on the news there locally in Springfield. And then we got to go and investigate the Shrine Mosque, which was pretty freaking amazing. It is huge. And, Missouri's full of all kinds of history. And, Civil War to serial killers to whatever. And I love going to different places. I've never been to Tombstone. This will be my first time. And I watch that movie Tombstone every time it comes on. I don't give a damn if I miss the first 20 minutes or what. I just love it. And to walk in those same places and to see Boot Hill and all that, and we get ghost towns too. I mean, come on, you can't beat that. You know, I know there's still some tickets left, but I don't know exactly what they have left. But I know that there's going to be, well, Steve Huff's going to be there, you, Randy and Kevin from D South, Justin, Blaine, Jeremy, Santiago, and Rick Hayes, and then myself. Who else am I missing? I mean, that pretty much covers the gamut of different ideas, different ways of, you know, investigating.
Yeah.
Out of all the places besides Sloth that you've been, where do you think is the next coolest place that you've been besides Sloth?
Really, I don't know. I mean, there's so many of these little private places that on these investigations that I've been to that I've got some great evidence. But now there's let's see, Old South Pittsburgh Hospital in Tennessee. It's very active, and we were there New Year's Eve on a private investigation, and we got some really good evidence there. And so I think we're gonna go back and do another private investigation there. Of course, we just got off of one this past weekend. A few of us went up to Gallenberg, Tennessee, and did a private investigation at a distillery. And
yeah, I saw that picture. That was a cool picture. Y'all look like y'all had been checking out spirits.
Yeah, the kind with the cork.
Yeah, the kind with the cork.
No, it was, you know, and the place, you know, it had some haunted history to it. And the employees had, you know, a bunch of experiences on a daily basis. And they contacted us and wanted us to go in and check it out. And we did, and we did. We got evidence. And it's so nice to be at some of these locations with someone that has the same abilities that you do, because that way you can kind of confirm stuff. And
yeah.
What's really neat is when two people see the same thing at the same time, and then you're like, what? Because that happened also. Me and Becky we were upstairs in this place, and she was packing up some of her equipment, and I looked down, and there's a shadow figure that walked in between us. And immediately we just looked at each other and were like, did you see that at the same time? And then we immediately looked over. I looked to my left, and because she was across from me, and she looked, and she was like, did you see that? Yep. And what was weird, we saw a shadow figure that looked like they were walking down steps. And I had no idea about this location, didn't know anything about it other than, hey, you know, we get to investigate this cool place. But there actually used to be a staircase that was where this shadow figure just disappeared into the floor.
Oh, wow.
So, you know, and they had been doing so, they had renovated the place, and the staircase was no longer there. But, you know, I guess the spirits, you know, they
still there for them.
Still there. And so, yeah, I mean, there was some crazy things going on that night. And, you know, and they had one room in there that there was just this foul odor. And they've had people come in, like, professionally to try to get rid of this smell, and they can't.
Wow.
And there's nothing in there. I mean, it's all block walls and concrete, and there's no
possibility of an animal being in there or nothing. That's crazy.
No, I mean, and it smells like death. It does. It just smells like death, and I couldn't go in there. I went maybe about 8 or 10 foot into this room, and you know, I tried to hang out for, you know, a minute, and that's about all I could stand. I couldn't do it.
Wow.
I mean, it was unreal. And the employees, I mean, they have to work in there. But there's just nothing that they can do with it. So, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what it could be, but it was a pretty awesome place.
Sounds like the Walmart in Springfield, man. The Walmart bathroom. Me and Brenda went in there, and dude, I had to put my hoodie over my face just to go to the restroom. I was like, my eyes were watering. I was like, burp, burp. I was like, Jesus. I went, I need a Vicks, you know, vapor rub underneath my nose to kill that crap. I mean, it was like, woo-wee, it was horrible. It was worse than death and everything else mixed together. I don't even know what the hell was going on with that, but I can't stand, you know, that smell, the smell of death. That freaks me out so bad. And, you know, we were in, like I said, we were cruising around Springfield, and, you know, I've been opening up a lot lately, and I'm starting to get, you know, I guess I've always gotten stuff, but I've doubted myself, questioned why I would think that, or, you know what I mean, and just kind of talked myself out of my thought or whatever I was getting. Well, this weekend was really strange. Brenda and I are cruising around fixing to go to breakfast, and I go by this neighborhood, and it just pulls me in. And so I pulled down the street, and I started feeling this like a dread, or like a not actually being scared. It was weird. It was an anxious feeling. And then all of a sudden, I get in front of this building, and I feel like I got shot in like my rib cage underneath my right, you know, breast, and it was like it burned, and it was radiating, and it started spreading the heat. And I was like, what in the hell is going on? I started sweating and felt like I was going to be sick, and I had to pull over. I felt like I'd been shot. And I was like, this is just strange. And so finally, the further away from the place that I got, it started easing up on me. But it still feels like I was bruised. And I'm like, that is an experience I've never had. You know, I've felt others' pain before, or I can pick up on when someone's nauseous or sick, or they've gotten, you know, something's wrong with them. But I've never had that happen before. And I was like, oh, okay. It's getting a little bit weird now. Okay, I've got names, and I'm okay with that. But when I felt like I was shot, that was something that I need to figure out how the hell that happened. You know? Right. So that was really strange. But Brenda said it can happen. You can feel people's, you know, like if somebody's by you that has like problems in their leg, I could probably feel their pain, you know. That happened a lot with my mom. So I don't know. So we talked to Minda and them with One True Paranormal, who is up there in that area, and I said, you know, how weird was that? And she goes, that area is known for lots of shootings. Lots of shootings. I go, well, that's nice that we were driving around in that neighborhood just thinking we were looking at that cool old houses, but no. Yeah, so... Also, I saw your post about being a country video star. What the hell's going on? Who was you on the first time? What video was you on the first time? Because I'm not into country music that much, so I like Miranda Lambert and Carrie Underwood.
The first time I was in one of Colt Ford's videos, and what was weird. And they always, whenever they have secret locations, I guess they don't want anyone knowing. They don't want the media or anybody getting involved. They do this stuff at like the last minute. And so we got in from Gallenberg yesterday, and I was trying to get stuff situated around the house since we've been gone for a few days. And so I started checking my email. Well, last night they'd sent me an email from a production company, and they wanted me to be in, they wanted me to be in Nashville today if I could, but then they were going to try to schedule me in at another time to be in a Florida-Georgia line video and some other stuff. I don't even have a clue what it is. They wouldn't tell me.
Well, how about that?
So I was like, okay. well, I'm not going to be able to make it today. I was going to plan on it, and so I had talked to them late last night, and they weren't even really sure where they were going to have it. So they were like, well, we'll let you know tomorrow. And I'm like, hey, people, I'm, 5 hours away. I can't just take off and go up there and then say, hey, it's raining or whatever, we can't have it today. So I figured it would be in my best interest just to kind of say, no, I can't make it today, but which they were fine with that. They told me that they've got some other stuff coming up, and they wanted me to be a part of, which I have no clue what it is, but hey, I'll do it.
Right? I mean, how cool is that?
I mean, it's a lot of fun. I don't know. I had met some of these people back several years ago, and I like to think I'm a likable person, and I guess some of these people thought that I was. So we just kind of hung out and talked and had a few drinks, and and exchanged numbers and Facebook information and everything, and they just kind of keep in touch every now and then. So it's kind of cool. I enjoy doing some of that stuff. Plus,
well, let me just tell you, if you ever get a call from Miranda Lambert or Carrie Underwood, you better let this chick know, because I'll make time to come up there and be around that for sure, because I want to ride in a little red wagon.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, wow. You know what I'm saying? Something bad's about to happen is what I'm talking about. So I would love that. But I'm excited about that. We finally did get to meet, that we actually do have this bond, and the group that we have the bond with, we have so much fun, and I can't wait for more people to be added to our Parafam. If you want to see what Para-Unity is all about, you need to come to Tombstone. There's a lot of crap that's been said, a lot of, attacks that's been happening, but I'm telling you right now, this event is going to happen, and it's going to be amazing. I got my ticket, and I know other tickets are being, worked on, and everything's going to happen, and I'm looking very, very forward to it. I don't know if I got any EVPs from Sloth Furnaces, but I know that the evidence that we got for Spirit Quest is going to blow people's minds, and I need to let everybody know, too, that Spirit Quest should be ready here within the next week. I'm going to actually premiere it at History, Haunts, and Legends in Jefferson, so I'm looking really forward to that. But we've got to get the cowboy, and I don't know what you're going to name him, but
well, I figured since there was so much electrical stuff in it, I have named him the Electric Cowboy.
Badass. That is awesome. There was a movie a long time ago too that I think it was Robert Redford. I'm going to age myself quite a bit here, but it's called
my personal page. Actually, I've got a website that they can also go on. I've got to update some stuff, but it's launched and ready to go. It's www.spiritparanormalequipment.weebly.com. I've got a few things on there, and got some cool stuff on there that people can look at, and I've got a little store set up on there, and people can also purchase equipment, send me messages, about equipment or anything. So, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the three places they can get a hold of me, or they can give me a call.
I'm telling you, you can do custom anything, because, he's got these dragons and these little bears that he puts all these cool things in for trigger objects, and which is a pretty big deal with when you're doing paranormal investigations. A lot of kids seem to follow me around when we're on investigations, like when Justin and I were in the tunnels there at Sloss, and he was trying to show me how the SLS works. And thank you again, Bill Chappell, for that amazing piece of equipment. But we're sitting there, and, you know, we're looking at the SLS, and he's mapping me out. You know, it's got to map me out. And this little bitty child skeleton type, of course, that's how you see it on this thing, comes up and stands right next to me. As we were talking about the mother and the daughter that lost their lives falling down the stairs and breaking their necks, that's where exactly we were, at the end of the tunnel right there. And, you know, I'm talking to the child, and I'm saying, me and Justin are both parents, you know what I mean? Don't be afraid of us. And then, you know, Justin goes, you're not going to believe this, but she just walked up right next to you. And I'm like, that doesn't shock me, you know? It's like, so I'm really looking forward to going to Tombstone, and I don't know if there's any kids there or not, but I'm sure they'll find me.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure they will, but I want to see what EVPs you guys got from Sloss.
We've got tons. We've been going through them for several weeks now, or actually since we got back, and we've got pages and pages of stuff that we've documented on the EVPs and stuff that we got. And one incident that happened, and I think you were there with us, when somebody's phone, I don't know if it was Becky's phone, that went off to Siri.
Oh, yeah, I think it was, it was somebody's phone. I can't remember whose it was, but it was Siri.
I think we figured out it was Becky's phone, but what's remarkable about that is it's actually saying Susie, and it wasn't her phone. And we've listened to that EVP probably 100 times, and I mean, it's just as plain as day.
I can't wait to hear that.
So yeah, I mean, we've got some pretty wild stuff. We're trying to get everything pieced together and everything, but yeah, we got tons of EVPs at Sloss.
Good. Well, I can't wait to see you guys at Tombstone. We're about out of time, but I appreciate you coming on. Just hang on the line with me, because I'm going to make a couple of announcements. Okay. And I don't want it to disconnect, but thanks a lot, Gary, for coming on. And y'all look up Spirit Paranormal Equipment and check it all out and order you some stuff. Don't get him too busy, though, because he's got to make a lot of stuff for Tombstone. But anyway, you guys, there's some conferences that I want to tell you guys about. It's called History, Haunts, and Legends, which is April the 11th in Jefferson, Texas. We have Tyler Paracon, April 25th in Tyler, Texas. Tombstone, baby, May 1st through the 3rd. Look up Haunting at Tombstone on Facebook, and there is a link there to go get tickets. Then there's Phenomenology 107 in York, Pennsylvania, which is June 18th through the 21st. Supernatural Expo, which is in Louisville, Texas, given out by 24 Hour Paranormal. That's July 18th. And then in September, we have Gulf Coast Paracon, and that is September 25th in Biloxi, Mississippi. Now, next week, I'm going to keep that a little bit of a secret under wraps, and I will announce my guest next week later on. But everybody have a great week. Thanks again, Gary, and you guys, peace out.